What's poppin', people? My name is Dukhed, and today I'd like to discuss the zombie boss situation in Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Zombies, right? Now, what I'm referring to is the boss spawn rate with the manglers, the abominations, and the amalgams, etc., etc. I'm referring to the damage output or whatever. I'm referring to how much health they have, whatever the fuck, right? Because ever since Black Ops 6 Zombies has been out, people have been complaining that the bosses have too much health, they spawn too much, etc., etc., right? So I'm going to address that in this video. I'm going to suggest some changes. Now, first of all, I am not just going to suggest for them to just make them spawn less, right? And there are two reasons I'm not going to suggest that. One is because it will just make the game blatantly fucking easier, right? And motherfuckers, all they did was complain that Black Ops Cold War Zombies was too goddamn easy. That's all people did was complain. That's all I heard. When COD Next came out, they saw Duke, Dennis, or whatever the fuck his name was, getting to round 50 without the game even being released. They said it was too easy. They saw people taking 15 hits, said it was too easy. So I'm not just going to say they need to spawn less. All right, that'll just make the game blatantly way too goddamn easy. Number two, I don't want to suggest it because for the people who like to camo grind, the zombie boss spawn rate with the manglers and the abominations, the amalgams, or whatever the fuck, that is directly tied to the camo challenges that you have to do, right? So for example, for Opal, you have to get 30 special zombie eliminations, so 30 mangler kills. For people who have Nebula or want to get Nebula, you have to get 10 elite zombie kills, right? So making this shit spawn less will make camo grinding significantly harder in this game. These are the changes I'm gonna suggest. So my changes are going to incorporate skill. It's not just gonna make this shit easier. It's gonna incorporate some kind of skill. So the first thing I'm going to suggest is that we have death perception added to the game. And if you didn't know about the last upgrade of death perception in Black Ops Cold War, basically the more you hit a zombie's critical spot consecutively, the more damage you did to that zombie, right? So you're not just doing base more damage to the zombie if you hit it right. You're not just doing base damage to the mangler, base damage to abominations, base damage to the amalgams. You have to actually aim for the critical spot in order to be successful. So I would add death perception so that we can do more damage to their critical spots. Now, second, I would make it to where that the ammo mods that are super effective against the boss zombies, like for example the napalm burst against the abomination, napalm burst against the mangler, shadow rift damage against the amalgam, dead wire damage against the amalgam. I would make it to where that does more damage to a boss zombie's critical spot. So if you hit the critical spot, it will do more damage. So it'll still do the same amount of damage it does to the body that's not the critical spot, but if you hit the critical spot, it will do more damage, so you can kill it faster, right? So that's what I would suggest for as far as damage output to the boss zombies. So what those changes do, they have some element of skill involved to where you just don't have to mindlessly shoot at the zombies and get rewarded for it. You have to actually aim at the critical spot deliberately, right? Now, here are some suggested changes that I would make to tweak the bosses a little bit. Starting off with the manglers. I understand that people are like, oh my god, they do too much goddamn damage to me. Fuck, they're fucking goddamn, bro. They blow me away all the time. What I would suggest is that the tracking of the mangler's arm cannon be tweaked a little bit. Because as it stands right now, it is very difficult to dodge a mangler's cannon blast. It's very difficult, right? You almost have to dodge at the last second because the tracking is so good. So I would just tweak the tracking a little bit to where you're more evasive and you can dodge it easier, right? A little bit. Not to where they're missing you fucking wide left, wide right all the time when they shoot you, but just make it to where it's a little bit easier to dodge them. In terms of the abomination, the suggested change I would make is that they have their critical spots exposed more. So if you didn't know with the abomination, their critical spots blink on and off all the time, right? They don't just stay on consistently. What I would suggest is that a critical spot is almost always on. So if abomination charges at you, usually their critical spot in one of their mouths, the left mouth, the right mouth, or the middle mouth, it's not going to be on, right, during a charge. What I would do is just make it to where the shit's on more often. So like I said, you're not going to just do more damage to the abomination just shooting in the body. But for those people who are skilled enough to aim for the critical spot of the abomination, they will get rewarded for it. and the critical spot would be available to them more often. For the amalgams, what I would do, same thing. I would make it to where their critical spots are a little bit more exposed more often, right? And those are the damage. Those are the suggestions that I would make to all the boss zombies, and in terms of the damage output of zombies, right? Damage output of your weapons to zombies. So what I suggested, just a little bit of recap, it incorporates a little bit of an element of skill to where it's not making the game just ridiculously easy, but at the same time, it will reward those people who have a little bit of a knowledge, a little bit of an understanding about how to damage these zombies, about what ammo mods are the most effective, about where these critical spots are on these zombies, right? And that's what I would do. Anyway, let me know what you would do with the zombie boss situation. I've seen so many people complain about the situation. I don't really see people saying the right thing. People just seem to suggest that making them spawn less would fix the situation. I mean, yeah, I guess it would make it better for people. I understand, but then you would have people start complaining that shit's too easy again. Let's not have that happen. Let's not have that happen, all right? Incorporate some skill. We can deal with it. Anyway, I'm out this bitch. More videos coming soon with zombies content. I'm out this bitch. Y'all have a good one. Bye. Going.